Boy, do we have a delight in store for you on this week's B-Movie Enema, the series. Hello everyone, I'm Jeff Arbuckle, and I'm here with my trusty sidekick,
Partner,
Nurse Disembody.
Damn straight.
Now we're here at the gaping anus of the B-Movie poop shoot. And this week we have a Jodan Baker masterpiece. Now, I don't want to put myself in the same league as something as brilliant and perfect as, say, Mystery Science Theater 3000, but I feel like when you finally get your shot at a Jodan Baker picture, you've really made it. Nurse, I'm here to say we've really made it.
Made what?
Made it. You know, it.
What's it?
It's not so much an it, but a place.
Where?
You know, the place where we can say we made it. Never mind.
But wait. Does it count if you picked the movie to do?
And never mind, Nurse.
I mean, it's not like someone handed the movie over to you or you got it awarded to you or something. You had to choose it to appear on the show.
I said never mind.
How do you know we made it if you were the one who chose the movie?
You done?
Yes.
Okay, so this is 1975's Mitchell, starring Jodan Baker, and I have much to say about Baker as we continue on with this movie, but let's start with the movie's director, Andrew V. McLaughlin. McLaughlin is kind of a classic workhorse director, for better or worse. He did quite a bit of TV with big-time credits, like Gunsmoke, Perry Mason, Rawhide, and Wagon Train. He also directed 116 episodes of Have Gun, Will Travel over the course of 6 years. However, he also did a lot of movies, but not just any movies either. He worked with a couple of big-time names. He often worked with either James Stewart or John Wayne. He did movies with Wayne like McClintock and Chisholm. With Stewart, he did Shenandoah and The Rare Breed. I kind of think that he was a guy who could handle movies quickly with big names. It was not uncommon for him to make multiple movies in a single year. Now, after Mitchell, he worked on a string of Roger Moore movies, but none of the awesome James Bond movies. No. These were the movies that people like Siskel and Ebert would trash, like The Wild Geese, North Sea Hijack, and The Sea Wolves. These were the types of movies that tended to be made on an international scale with a group of investors, producers, production companies, and so forth. And again, I have to imagine he was a hired hand who could get the job done quick and probably under budget. And it's also quite common to see a fairly large cast in his movies too. Mitchell is no exception. We have Jodan Baker, Linda Evans, Martin Balsam, John Saxon, and even Merlin Olsen. McLaughlin was married 3 times. His second wife, Vita Ann Borg?
What?
Borg?
Drop it. That was 2 weeks ago now.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so this was written by Ian Kennedy Martin. Now those of us who know the man's work and, generally with it, know him as IKM. Now IKM wrote mostly TV. In fact, you can say he pretty much exclusively wrote for TV shows and series, with the only exception being Mitchell. He wrote no other movies. He did get credits for being the creator of a series called The Sweeney when films were made based on the show. And that was about, what else? Hard-boiled detectives on the Metropolitan Police in London. Now, by the way, it should definitely be noted that both McLaughlin and IKM are British. McLaughlin got his start in the UK and then came over here to churn out those Stewart and Wayne flits. How did 2 Brits end up making a movie about a hard-ass Los Angeles detective that's also a chubby loser is beyond me. I would love to know more about how this is made, but I'm not sure we will ever really know. I wouldn't be surprised if IKM wrote this for a British movie or TV show, but it ended up getting over here and turned into, well, this. Now, we're going to get started here, and I have lots and lots more to say about this as we continue on, but for now, I think we should just get things going. What say you, nurse?
I say, my, Mitchell.
Hey, whoa, not yet. We're going to talk about that later on.
This little thing, she can't be more than 16. Every time she gives me a manicure, she tells me she's having a different affair. And she tells me everything. I mean, all the real hot and juicy details. I can't even keep my fingers still.
Shut up. I'm thinking. Ladies, you know where everything is. I want you to exercise the bottomless resources of your imagination. Surprise me, the way you always do. Come on, Don, let's get some juice.
And the hell does he think I am, an acrobat?
start. No, wait. Shh.
A possible DB at 1020 Mapleton Drive. Investigate, lend assistance, and protect the scene.
22, can you give me a fix on Mapleton Drive? Is it off Beverly Glen?
This is 22. You've got it. It's 1 block east.
All right.
Well, private enterprise beat us to it, huh?
Hey, what do you say, Jimmy?
Hello, Tom. Where's the body? In the den. You gonna need us around here?
No, that's okay, thanks.
We'll take off then. It's all yours.
Sure. Hey, you coming, Mitchell?
Yeah.
I'm Alderdini, officer. Just come this way. It's like one of those wetbacks. He ran to that wall, pulled a gun from my gun rack. Fortunately, I got to another gun sooner. He grabbed that coat. I had no choice. I had to shoot him.
A pretty clean job.
All those guns loaded? Some of them. I'm not always sure which.
The guests are leaving.
Party's over.
Anybody told I could leave?
I did.
There's a police investigation going on here.
My guest has to be at his desk at 8 in the morning. He's an important person. The secretary will give you their names and addresses.
What's your name?
Mitchell. What's yours?
Well, find him wherever he is. And raise Alex, will you? And get hold of Mistretta. Tell him to talk to Galano.
Morning, sir. Hello, Chief Talon.
Morning, Chief. Mitchell, sir. Give me 3 aspirins and a glass of water, then coffee. Make it strong and black. Mitchell, people don't like you. In fact, I don't care for you myself. Why is that? You refuse to sign this report. Why? What kind of a policeman are you, anyway? What are you going to do, file a separate report?
I don't know.
What do you know?
None of Deanie's other guns were loaded. Now, the collection's way up high on the wall. The burglar, he only looks to be about 5'4" all.
So, what does that prove?
If Deanie's lying, he's not going to get away with it.
You're going to get me mad, Mitchell, and when that happens, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. Now, get out. All right. See Aldrich. He's got an assignment for you. And remember, don't you dare go near Deanie. You forget about him.
Come in, Mitchell. Take a seat. Chief Powell has ordered the surveillance of a man called James Arthur Cummins. James Arthur Cummins? Yeah, you heard of him? No. It's a 24-hour surveillance, and I want you to stay with him until A, you bug him enough that he cracks, or B, he comes up with some kind of statement or incriminates himself concerning a crime in Mexico. Okay. Who do I get? You get nobody. Huh? Nobody. What I do for sleeping? How about eating? Nothing's going to happen in the middle of the night. Oh. You got 6 hours shut-eye from midnight to 6 a.m. Now, Mitchell, those are Palin's orders. You want to call him? See Tyzak. He'll take you to Cummins' place.
Import-export of stolen merchandise. That is Cummings' big scene. This week, it's a big heroin hijack. Comes out of Mexico. A kilo. Full kilo. Now, that's $2 million. Maybe Palin's idea of a joke, but leaning on Cummings is no joke, my friend. No one leans on Cummings because he stamps on people, and he's got a big shoe.
Well, let me ask you something then.
Yeah?
If Palin gave you this job of leaning on Cummings, would you say he's giving you a good assignment?
I'd say that he was quietly shipping you out of the way.
Well, I get them both, Deanie and Cummings.
No way. You don't get neither.
Well, that's what Palin thinks, right?
Right.
Wrong.
See you later.
Metro, Police Department?
Benefit's not due till January, son.
Mr. Cummings.
Make an appointment, son. Have your chief give me a ring.
Mr. Cummings. No salesman at this entrance.
Now, what do you want?
I've got some questions.
No question.
Now, what do you know about a man named Estrada and some heroin hijacked down in Mexico?
Heroin?
Yeah, Cuernavaca, Mexico, about a kilo. A truck, ambushed, hijacked, you know.
Look, Mitchell, this is Los Angeles, California. I don't know anything about heroin, or somebody's got his wires crossed.
Oh. Well, I've been told to watch you, Mr. Cummings, so I guess that's what I'm going to do.
Can I give you some advice, son?
Oh, yes, sir.
Watch out for falling rocks.
And that was the midnight edition of the news on KKRO.
Cummins, give me a Estrada.
Stratter, what's this about a load of merchandise I'm supposed to be shipping in? I got cops sitting on me. They tell me this and I don't know it. You what? Get over here and don't argue with me. Just drive around the block.
What's bugging you? Listen, you punk, for the future, next time you start something, you tell me before you start it, not afterwards. You ship the dope someplace else. I got this cop on my tail.
It's on the water, Cummins.
What's on the water?
Merchandise.
It's not coming through my facilities.
You can't go nowhere else?
Why not?
Why not? Because that's the way Mr. Galano wants it. And because maybe it's in San Pedro now or tomorrow. It's too late, Cummins.
Well, if it comes through San Pedro, I'm not going to touch it. Understand? I will not touch it.
Cummins, you are not in a position to say such things. And before you open your big mouth again, you better think of Mr. Galano.
I say it, boy, because I mean it.
.55, Mitchell.
Come in, Mitchell.
Log this report. It's timed 24:17 hours. I'm at the Dini residence. I'm putting my gun in the glove compartment and locking it.
55. What's that supposed to mean? 55. You read me?
If I'm shot in the next couple of hours, I was unarmed when it happened. Log it. 55 out.
Isaac? Sitting down. What in the hell are you up to?
Deanie.
And what'd I tell you? I told you to forget Deanie. Do you know who he is?
Yeah, he's a trade union lawyer.
And I gave you a direct order to forget him. Now, why'd I give you that order? I'm going to tell you why. Every federal law violation in the book, and they're going to throw it against Deanie and his trade union. They've been working on this thing for over 2 years. Now, in the meantime, you get back out there on Cummins and you stay with him. Deanie is FBI property.
Right, boss.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm your new friend.
My friend?
Hmm?
Come on in, friend. Something to drink?
What do you have?
Beer and vodka.
Beer. Don't you think I'm as good as anything here? You've got me wrong. I'd like a glass.
You want a towel?
You want to lick it off?
There you go. Sorry, the beer got a little excited.
That's a change.
You want me to take my clothes off?
No. Unless you want to.
Who sent you here?
Don't you like presents at Christmas? Oh, that is, unless you're old.
No, ma'am.
You really think she's an anarchist?
Who?
The Playmate of the Month. Maybe I need a gimmick or something. We've got her here with a bomb in her hand.
Well, who sent you here? Hey, who sent you here? Greta, you live in North Cannon?
I used to. If the client calls, tell him I gave you a good time.
Oh, sure. 100%.
Thank you.
Hey, what about me? How'd I rate?
I never thought about you that way.
Hello, Mr. Galano.
Last night, I had to come to my home. Salvatore Misterra, my cousin. He has complaints against you.
He's a punk.
Uh-huh.
Who convinced you to finance that hijack? You know, if you want drugs, you can grow them, you can buy them. The stealing is greedy.
May I remind you of something, Cummins?
Sure.
In August of 1963, you, me, and some others, we had a very fine meeting in which we allowed you influence in this area in exchange for certain assignments to be handled by you.
So?
That was very generous, yes?
Fair enough.
Now it's your turn. We will take delivery of Salvadore's shipments through your contacts at the port, okay?
I'm not bringing that shipment in, and that is final.
Mitchell, I made a decision about you. I got a lot of things in my mind at the moment. Now, you're getting too heavy to carry.
I'm sorry, you feel that way, Mr. Cummins?
I do. Now, you're going to get lost or not?
Well, I'd like to, but there are some questions that...
You're saying no?
I'm saying no.
Thought I'd give you the chance. Is your friend ready?
Yes, sir. He's ready.
Jeff?
Yes, my dear.
Do you have any idea about what's going on in this movie?
Barely.
You seem awfully confident about that.
Not at all. Here's the deal. Mitchell is kind of an overly complicated movie in that first act. You have John Saxon playing Walter Dini. He's a trade union lawyer, apparently, and he kills a burglar, and Mitchell starts to think it was something more than the self-defense angle that Dini takes. Apparently, Dini is guilty as hell for lots of other things because the FBI is looking into him, and Mitchell is kind of basically told to keep his distance.
Now, why couldn't someone explain that in a much more plain talk?
Because hard-boiled cops don't talk in plain speak? Anyway, his chief tells Mitchell to go stake out this guy named Cummins, played by Martin Balsam. And apparently he's tied to the mob for importing and exporting stolen shit.
Okay, I think I'm with you so far.
Now get this. Using Cummins' connection, a guy named Mistretta, who is the cousin of a mob pal of Cummins named Galano. So Mistretta is using Cummins' shipping deal to smuggle in heroin without Cummins' approval.
Oh my god, this is pretty dense.
In more ways than one.
So, who's the broad?
Oh, that's Linda Evans. And now she's playing Greta, who is basically a plant to keep Mitchell entertained.
Gross.
In more ways than one. So, caught up?
I guess.
Good. So, we have Mitchell played by the incomparable Joe Don Baker. Now, Baker cut his acting teeth on TV before transitioning into film in the 70s. Now, he got a lot of supporting roles early on, but ended up in a 1972 Sam Peckinpah Western called Junior Bonner, starring Steve McQueen. And after having several credits between 1970 and 1972, he hit it fairly big with 1973's Walking Tall as Sheriff Buford Pusser, a retired pro wrestler turned lawman in Tennessee. And this was based on a sort of true story, and it's kind of one of those cop cleans up a crooked town in his own way type of stories. Not sure how that ages these days, but whatever. It got fairly decent reviews as a much more polished and slicker kind of revenge type action flick. And it went on to become a huge cult hit. Got 2 sequels, neither of them starring Baker, and then a remake with The Rock. Now with that, Baker became a viable draw for movies. However, things got a little interesting for Baker as he moves on to Mitchell, and then movies involving cars moving very fast, and then to straight up boner comedy land with 1982's Wacko and 1983's Joysticks. He did bounce back a little bit with movies like The Natural, Fletch, Cape Fear, Citizen Cone, and so on. And he's quite the recognizable person. Now, if you're like me and a huge James Bond nerd, then you know that Baker appeared in no less than 3 James Bond movies. He first appeared in 1987's The Living Daylights, starring Timothy Dalton, and he played arms dealer Brad Whitaker. Now, The Living Daylights is a little bit more of a complicated plot than your typical Bond flick, but he is ostensibly the main villain in that movie, and the final boss of sorts that Bond had to defeat. Then, in the Pierce Brosnan era, Baker played CIA agent Jack Wade in both GoldenEye and Tomorrow Never Dies. He's one of the 4 actors who have played a villain and an ally of James Bond.
Are we simply going to gloss over the Mystery Science Theater connection?
Oh, we absolutely are not. For yet another crowd that I am also very much part of, Baker appeared in 2 very, very, very funny episodes of the original run of Mystery Science Theater 3000. He's forever tied to the final episode of host Joel Robinson with Mitchell. That was the movie being watched as Gypsy frantically tried to help find a way to get Joel to safety when she misunderstood something she overheard the mad scientist say. Then, a few years later, host Mike Nelson watched the movie Final Justice from 1985. In that, Baker played a Texas Ranger who is escorting a mob goon back to Italy, but is stuck in Malta where he makes a big ol' ass out of himself. Now, while Mitchell has the impact of being Joel's last episode, that makes all those jokes somehow even funnier. Final Justice really gives Mike and the bots a chance to poke a little fun at Baker's overall slobbiness. Now, personally, I love Joe Don Baker. At the very least, I can love him for the Bond films he appeared in. However, also, as a Misty, I can love him for being part of 2 very funny episodes of a beloved TV show that I still laugh very hard at to this day. And I can say, though, that Baker was a part of one of the worst movies I've ever actually seen in a movie theater. He was in 1995's Congo, where he plays, get this, Bruce Campbell's dad. And I just can't help but to love this big old teddy bear that is Joe Don Baker, even though Mitchell is a sloppy movie and kind of overly complicated.
That it is.
Oh, yes. Now, we're given so many names to keep up with. Galano, Mistretta, Cummins, Dini. How are we supposed to keep up with all this? Also, Mitchell apparently is a shitty cop or something. Our first look at him is in the back of a cop car where it appears he's getting a lift from being blackout drunk at a bar. Then he gets chewed out by his chief.
Yeah, talk about false advertising.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, here's the poster. Look at this. We've got the tagline, brute force with a badge, with helicopters, a man with very large machine gun, car crashes, sexy Linda Evans. All of this is over a crazed, I don't know, maybe even coked out Joe Don Baker harpooning the fuck out of somebody. And all this is more or less copied in the opening credits, too. As the name Mitchell is forming like a slide puzzle on screen, we see Joe Don Baker straight up murdering a guy. Where's all this action at? So far, he's been driven home in the back of a cop car while nearly passed out drunk. He's putting in literal hours sitting in a car out front of Martin Balsam's place, and he's even confusing Linda Evans' toes for hors d'oeuvres. You know, I'm actually a little upset about that.
Me too. He's all up in her toes and everything.
Ew.
Ew.
Yeah? Rudy, I got pressure.
Who's pushing?
Mistretta.
Mistretta? You can handle him.
Well, there are problems.
Unless, of course, he's backed by Galano.
You got it.
What the hell are you calling me for?
Well, I tell you, it's about a little discussion between me and Mistretta.
You got a short answer, Cummins. You're going to get the same answer off any of the boys. If Galano's involved, I don't want any part of it.
This is all going to blow up pretty soon, and when it does, who we got on our side? One lousy cop, if he's still around.
He's not on our side, sir.
Yes, he is. I'm no good to him dead. You know I'm being followed.
Yeah, that yellow car. I saw him.
following me or not?
Yes, sir.
Now, you start following me and stop wasting the taxpayers' money.
You betcha.
Well, let's get going.
55, come in, please.
55, Mitchell.
That old Mustang you asked about, we have the details.
What about him?
What about these guys that are following Cummins?
What about them?
I'm asking you.
All I know is in the report.
Look, I want one of them in here for questioning. Bring him in.
Look, whatever I charge him with, he's just going to be out on bail within an hour unless Cummins cooperates, and he won't.
Mitchell, I want action. Now bring one of them in here and make sure he's in our hands for 2 weeks or more. Okay?
Okay. You cookie stealer.
Got the correct time?
10 to 12.
That guy Cummins sure gets around. So that's sure some schedule he's got.
Don't bother me, mister.
Anti-social type, huh? Private type? And you should let other people have their privacy. Hey, you want to hold this? I gotta go call headquarters.
Mitchell, I thought your job was Cummins.
I've been busy.
Oh, really?
Hey, is that guy with a leg wound, has he talked yet?
Nope. You may be facing a disciplinary charge for shooting him.
Hey, what the hell? You wanted him for 2 weeks with no bail, that's how you got him.
I didn't expect you to shoot him.
Oh, you're asinine, Aldridge.
You shouldn't have blown your cover like that. I'll go phone headquarters. Well, I'm not ashamed of being a policeman, Mr. Cummins. Of course you're not ashamed, and that's your trouble. Yes. Don't forget, Mr. Mitchell. I don't think Benton likes you. Well, that's your trouble. Not so many people like you. You gotta cultivate people, go out to them, win their confidence. You never know when they're gonna come in useful. And you gotta be nice to them.
Well, what about the heroin, Mr. Cummins?
Forget the heroin. You ask about the heroin over the soup. That's your trouble. You're impatient. You went at that guy as if he was going to do you some harm.
I wanted to find out who he was.
Well, ask him. Don't shoot him. Who was he?
Booker. Ed Booker.
Booker.
Boca with a double C. Edmundo Boca.
Like the soup?
Yes.
Well, you got this place laid out like a real banquet, Mr. Cummings. Or a business dinner. We might talk business later. I'm gonna have some more soup, man.
There is no more soup, sir.
How do you like that? In my own house, no more soup. Boca works for Mistretta.
That's the first piece of information you come up with, Mr. Cummins.
Patton, what are you doing with those steaks? You growing them? You gonna take all night feeling that orange?
Well, I thought maybe we might talk about the shipment. Well, what I want to know is...
The coffee's cold, Benton. You're a lousy butler.
I am not a lousy
You are
butler.
a lousy butler.
I am not.
I say you're a lousy butler. The coffee is cold.
Well, I think I gotta go.
My, Mitchell. What would your mama say?
What's the ribs?
If she ever knew that you were prowling out and carrying on that way, cracking in heads and jumping in and out of beds and hanging around the criminal scene. Do you think you are some kind of a star like the guys on the movie screen? Well, oh my, Mitchell, what would your captain do if he knew you was hanging around, eating lunch with crooks and shooting up the town? Though you've been out there rounding up the syndicate, succeeding where the others have failed. Oh my, Mitchell, you shoot 'em just to get 'em in jail. When they take a look at the record book, they will find you got a lot of class. Catching the gang with the whole shebang, arresting painted ladies for a bit of grass. Oh my, Mr. Criminal, you better hide underground, 'cause Mitchell's gonna be coming your way. Just when you think you're safe, whoops, you've been found. He wrestles with the ladies and beats up on the bad guys quicker than a grease and a lube. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's the American dream, like the guys on the TV tube. He's such a super dude, the American dream, like the guys on the movie screen.
You want to make some coffee?
Hi.
I'll make some coffee.
I wished I'd had a camera. I'd want some shots of this for my old age.
Hey, did you ever do any of that, obscene photographs and all that?
Mm-hmm. I need the brand.
We're gonna buy some.
I could do some for nothing.
You keep a file?
For one moment, I forgot you were a cop.
Well, if I have I forgot you were a hooker.
So what? I'm a hooker.
So somebody's paying for this.
So why does that bother you? You're not paying for it.
That's what's bothering me.
You couldn't afford me.
What's so special about you I couldn't afford?
What's so special about me is that I'm expensive and sometimes tax deductible.
Hey, be specific. In what cases are you tax deductible?
To be specific, I'm tax deductible when I'm sleeping with the corporation. Look, you couldn't afford me, Mitchell, so be grateful for what you've got.
Hey. You always go to bed for money?
No, for money I always go to bed, if you get the difference.
You mean you're not choosy?
That's right. At my price, I'm not choosy.
What about freaks?
I've never known a freak who could afford $1,000 a night.
$1,000 a night? Did Johns pay you $1,000 a night?
Plus expenses.
What expenses?
Sometimes there are expenses.
Be specific.
Be specific. What are you doing, ghosting my life story or something?
I'll make some coffee, please. Will you please show me this?
You went through that Tuesday.
Yeah, but this is Thursday. You didn't get busted for this.
God, it must have to be very straight.
You implying I'm not straight?
You're as bent as Tower of Pisa. The only trouble is you don't know it.
You really think I'd take some sort of a payoff, huh?
You already have, haven't you?
Oh, wait a minute. You were a Christmas gift. That's what you said.
Did I?
Didn't you? Damn right. And that doesn't make me the cooperative type. So you just watch your pretty mouth.
So bust me. You're a policeman, and that's grass. Oh, come on. Come on. You sure know how to bring a girl down. He sleeps with me, then busts me.
Well, she asked me to.
What? Sleep with her or bust her?
Both.
That will be taken into account, Miss Adams, when your case is heard. Have you any other offenses you'd like for us to take into consideration while you're in this kind of a mood?
Yeah, he hung up on this guy.
That's a mistake, lady. Not an offense.
When can I see my lawyer?
We'll take care of it for you. But I'm afraid it'll take an hour or so.
Hey, that's only a $500 fine. At $1,000 a night, you're still ahead.
Oh, you're a terrific human being, Mitchell. I had a clean record in this town.
Hey.
Make sure she signs the property receipt. Hey, you really sleep with that?
Yep.
Ask him to come in. Say that it's important. Say that I have to see him.
Yes, sir.
This way. You want a drink? Sit down. All right, Mitchell. It's time we stop messing around.
What does that mean?
I want to put you on the payroll.
For your payroll?
Now, look, I'm in trouble. You sensed it, you know it, and I know it.
Specifically, what trouble?
Well, the idea of the payroll. Now, I get to ask the questions. I need help. I need help from any source that I can get it.
You want to put it on the line?
I want to buy your services, your voice on the phone in case I need the help of your police department.
Let me just write the details of your bribe down, Mr. Cummins.
Could be open, cash, or subtle, just the way you take it from other people.
I don't take bribes.
Some friends down at City Hall said they saw you in court this morning with a hooker that you sleep with and occasionally arrest.
What else they tell you?
She's too expensive and you can't afford her on a policeman's salary. Now, somebody's picking up the check. Who could that be?
You.
Me what?
You're picking up the check.
No, I don't. I don't pay for your hookers, Mitchell.
Then who is?
You mean you don't know? You're a cop and you don't know? I knew you'd call sooner or later. Come on. Sit down. How do you like your scotch? You know, I admire a man like you. You take your time. You're cool. Yes, sir. How's the broad?
That's what I came to talk about.
You know what it costs to keep you sweet? $100 an hour. She tells me it happens all night. But you figure it out. That's like $1,000 before breakfast.
As far as I'm concerned, she's just some broad looking for a little action.
You want to see the receipts?
You're wasting your money, Deanie.
Let me be the judge of that.
She'll lie in my bed for nothing.
You really think so? I arrange a $100 company in your name to negotiate the transfer of a piece of real estate. For, let's say, $20
$25,000. You haven't got $25,000, but I'll get you a bank loan. All legitimate. The real estate you buy will be a piece I designate, and you'll buy it from one of my subsidiary companies. Then, I'll buy it off you for, let's say, 100 G's. That'll give you a clear profit of $75,000. And who's to say it isn't a genuine investment? Well, what do you think?
I'm going to get you for that murder. Or I'll die trying.
You're making the biggest mistake of your life.
Pay me enough to get in one of those things.
Me either.
Hello, James.
What's going on, Walt?
That cop is getting out of line.
What do you suggest we do about it?
We've been sitting on our butts too long. We hit him. We hit the bum.
It's a strange place for a meeting. That's the only place I can catch up with Sam. Why don't you follow me down the road?
Mitchell, how would you like Walter Dini?
What do you mean, how would I like Walter Dini?
If I give you Dini, if I set it up so you can get him on something that really sticks, will you help me out?
I'll set it up.
Just leave it to me. And what's your answer?
I want a fish and you offer a shrimp. I'll get Dini. The way I see it, you first, and then Dini.
You just dumped on yourself.
Drop dead. Now.
Hey, wait!
We need protection, Benton. You know what kind of protection we need? No, sir. Cops. Cops? That's right, and lots of them, and I'll tell you how we're going to get them. We'll let Dini play around with Mitchell. Now, if Mitchell gets killed, there'll be 20 cops sitting on us and not one. We'll let Mistretta tackle that.
The plot thins? So we learn that Cummins is getting no help with anyone because of the mob stuff that's involved, and that leaves Cummins basically on an island unto himself. So he decides that maybe he needs to work with Mitchell because he's about the only ally he has?
But for what?
Right, well, I think Cummins is real unhappy with this drug shit, right?
Okay.
He's not wanting the junk passed through his deal there at the shipyards or something. I mean, frankly, I really don't know for sure. Cummins is backed into a corner and Mitchell is trying to untangle a lot of shit. And Cummins wants to do a thing.
You got that right.
The movie didn't do so well with critics, if you can imagine. This second act really helps illustrate something that was said very well by New York Times critic Vincent Canby. He said, and I quote, "Mitchell spends what seems to be the greater part of the film climbing in and out of automobiles, driving automobiles, chasing other automobiles, parking automobiles, and leaning against the body of automobiles that are temporarily at rest."
Let's not forget he slammed a guy's hand in the door of an automobile.
Yeah, that's exactly how that quote ends. Then he also shoots a guy while leaning against an automobile, too.
He sure has a thing for automobiles.
Here's the thing about all this. The movie seemingly deals with bad shit like drugs and what have you. However, nothing in this movie happens with any desire to be urgent. Mitchell goes to watch Cummins. He goes home and drinks beer and sleeps with Greta. He goes to the station, gets chewed out, and he goes home and gets beat up before drinking beer and sleeping with Greta. Sometimes those two things of drinking beer and sleeping with Greta happen simultaneously. It's a Rubik's Cube of peculiar. This is kind of supposed to be an action flick, yet like most of the movie takes place at a standstill. There are edits and cuts, but between stationary shots, right? Yeah, there was just a car chase, but that happened what felt like hours ago. And yes, there's that dune buggy chase, and that's where we see Mitchell murder a guy, but there's no music to that. It feels like it's there just to remind us that, oh yeah, this is an action movie with a crazed Joe Don Baker trying to commit vehicular homicide after smashing a guy's head in with a fucking rock, but...
You're gonna say it's Joe Don Baker, aren't you?
Yeah! I mean, you almost can't dislike the guy. You kind of can't like him either, but there's something dopey and goofy about him, and he's our action hero who gets the lady. A lot of the lady.
He even has his own theme song.
You're right, he does. The Mitchell theme song is really likable for how goofy it is. It perfectly suits Joe Don Baker.
My, Mitchell.
See, it's catchy. The song is written and performed by country music legend Hoyt Axton. By 1975, Axton had already released 14 albums, and he was only about halfway through his music career. Axton wasn't just a singer, he sold music or co-wrote music with quite a few notable people. He was a songwriter for Steppenwolf's The Pusher and Three Dog Night's Joy to the World. The latter was a #1 song for like 6 weeks. But I think there's no way anyone of a certain age wouldn't know Axton first and foremost, and maybe solely, for his role as Rand Peltzer in Gremlins. He was the inventor father who was doing everything he could to make for a great life for his wife and son, Billy. Naturally, to try to get Billy the perfect Christmas gift, he happened into a shop in Chinatown one fateful night and brought home a mogwai. In real life, Axton actually struggled mightily with an addiction to cocaine. Some of his songs, like the aforementioned The Pusher, as well as songs like Snowblind Friend and No Song, were reflections of some negative experiences he had on the drug. He was also a huge proponent for medical marijuana. And he had a stroke in 1995 that he never truly recovered from, but claimed that he used pot to relieve the pain and stress caused by it. In 1999, he passed away at the age of 61 after suffering 2 heart attacks in 2 weeks. Now, another notable person to appear in this movie was in this past segment too, and that's the desk sergeant, and he's played by Jerry Hardin. He's probably best known for his role as Deep Throat on The X-Files. Hardin had been in a few dozen shows and movies over the years too. Likely you saw him and thought, hey, that guy looks familiar. Now, one final note before we get back to the movie. There are 2 versions of this movie, supposedly. There's the original edit and the heavily edited TV version that takes out much of the violence, language, and edits a few shots and so forth. To be honest with you, I'm not sure which version we're watching. The movie is 97 minutes, just like our original cut, but when Greta decides to get a little revenge for Mitchell busting her over pot, she writes jerk on his windshield. Now, supposedly, the original version has her writing the word bastard. So I don't know if this is a mix of the 2 cuts or if this is the TV cut or what.
This movie is a real black hole of questions, isn't it?
You know, it kind of is. I can't figure anything out about this movie. Who's that? What's whom? Am I supposed to care about anything? Exactly how much Schlitz can Mitchell drink if a Mitchell could drink Schlitz?
I guess the only way to find out is to get into the final act.
Yeah, there you have it. Poop shoot. Do as the lady says and take us to the conclusion.
Life should be good memories and times. Children on a sunny day, believing that it's only play, but every day I find life's heavy on my mind. Every day I find life's heavy on my mind.
More news. Los Angeles labor figure Walter Ardini died today when the dune buggy hit the driving.
Are you the man from the insurance?
Nope.
You came last night.
No.
My mother doesn't like you.
Well, I don't like your mother.
Why not?
Why not?
No, why not?
No, why not?
Why are you repeating what I say?
Why are you repeating what I say?
I'm not.
Well, I'm not.
You are.
Buzz off.
What?
What?
What did he say?
What'd you say?
Did you say something?
You say something?
You said buzz off.
You're lying through your teeth.
You're lying through your teeth.
Buzz off, huh?
Buzz off.
Buzz off, kid!
Why don't you have me arrested?
Because you want me to. No, I don't want you on an assault charge. I want everything. I want you and Mistretta and Alita Galano and the lousy heroin.
Maybe you'll get him. I wonder if I should have a talk with you, Mitchell.
I wonder if you should too, Cummins.
You scared to come in the house?
No.
I give you my word, nothing will happen to you this time.
I'm not scared of you, Cummins.
Sit down.
Well,
shut up, son. You don't drink, do you? Well, this is the way it went. The Strutter made the setup. Came to me too late, told me that the heroin was on the water coming through my operations at San Pedro. Now, he tells me when the stuff is already on its way.
What up next?
Well, Strutter phoned a little while back. It was an ultimatum. I had an hour to reply.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to think, Mitchell. Then I'm going to call Mistretta back and tell him that it was okay to use my port facilities.
And?
I'm going to set it up, hand it over to you.
That sounds just a little too good to be true.
You buy it?
How's this stuff going to come in?
Well, a rich woman in a big car is going to pick up her luggage that she sent ahead after her vacation in Acapulco. You're going to be the chauffeur.
And then?
And you rendezvous with Mistretta.
Where is this?
He has a house in Calabasas. Now, you get the heroin, you get Mistretta. You don't get me, understood? You don't get me.
All right, what time does it start happening?
We'll need your signature. Here, here, and here. Your initials here. And if you'll fill out this customs declaration.
And what do I write under contents?
Personal.
And value?
$100.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, let me talk to Miss Stretta.
For you. Yeah.
Okay, Miss Stretta, the consignment's on its way.
I hope everything goes smooth.
There's one slight alteration in the arrangements. You know that cop that's been bugging me, Mitchell? He's bringing you this stuff.
I don't believe you.
Do?
Are you out of your mind?
No, I'm going to be out of my boat. You just tie up all the loose ends. Mitchell knows a lot. Now get the stuff and then deal with him in your own way. Oh, Sergeant, you might want to tell Chief Palin that one of his boys, that Mitchell character, yeah, well, he's heading for trouble in Calabasas. Yeah.
We'll step out.
I didn't have anything to do with all this.
You mean this heroin?
Yes.
It ain't smack, lady, it's chalk. Cummins is crossing Delano. You sure you won't be in the middle of this?
Huh?
Go on, take a walk, huh?
What?
Walk. Come on, move. Now, come on. Watch out for traffic. Yeah.
I see the Cadillac.
There's just the driver, and nobody's following.
Giorgio.
I read you. See any other cars down there? Anything? No, nothing. Well, keep your eyes open.
Okay.
Park your car. I'll be out. Keys. Cummins says you're a cop. Says you're the cop who keeps following him. He says kill you. I think he has a point. He's leaving on a boat out of Marina del Rey. I'm gonna put your body on that boat and then call the Coast Guard. What made you come here alone? Cummins said you were friendly people. Okay, boy, where's the stuff? I think I hit it. Where? It's in a jar in a gas station outside the docks. Get in. Go up. Right. He lit the dike! The police are coming! You hear me? The police are coming!
5-hour head start, so we gotta hustle. Mac. We've got an hour's fuel, 80 miles, 40 out and 40 back. 20 minutes we'll be in Mexican territorial waters, and no power to arrest anyone. Too late for Coast Guard to catch them? Right. Lieutenant!
Benton? Benton! Hey, Mitchell! That's very impressive. Very smart, Mitchell. Very tough. You know that you and me have over $1 million here? You hear what I'm saying? Over $1 million right here in a bag. You don't have to be a pig for the rest of your life, Mitchell. And Mitchell, you're smart enough for something better. You're smart enough for over $500,000. Take a look at it. I'm throwing it out. What do we talk about it, Mitchell? Here's my gun. No reason to fight. We're smart, we'll both be okay.
knees. Raise the bed. Raise the bed. On your knees. Get your hand on top of your head. Now freeze.
You get a kick out of this kind of thing.
How'd you get in here?
Through the door.
It was locked.
May I put my hands down now?
What hit the kitchen?
I had to eat.
Oh, well, you could at least wash the dishes.
There's no machine.
Look, where I come from, you wash in the sink and you dry it with a cloth. Now try it before you leave.
Hey! Mitchell? Can I come in with you?
Oh, girl. Well, what do you want to sleep with me for, huh? Ain't nobody paying you this time. So why, huh?
What's the matter?
Grass. Yeah, that's grass. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's get your coat.
He's such a super dude, the American dream, like the guys on the movie screen. My, Mitchell, what would your mama say if she ever knew that you were prowling out and carrying on that way, cracking in heads and jumping in and out of beds and hanging around the criminal scene? Do you think you are some kind of a star like the guys on the movie screen? When they take a look at the record book, they will find you got a lot of class. Catching the gang with the whole shebang, arresting paint ladies for a bit of grass. Oh, my, Mr. Criminal, you better hide underground, 'cause Mitchell's gonna be coming your way. Just when you think you're safe, looks you've been found. He wrestles with the ladies and beats up on bad guys quicker than a grease and lube. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's the American dream, like the guys on the TV tube. He's such a super dude, the American dream, like the guys on the movie screen.
What's the matter, nurse? What? What's wrong?
That old lady is left to walk all by herself.
Yeah.
I think Mitchell might have sent her to her death.
That's very possible.
That's not great.
No. Now, what I'm really sad about is why I didn't bother to keep account of how many times someone said either Dini, Cummins, Mistretta, or Galano. Seriously, if that became a drinking game, you'd be as wet as Mitchell on a Tuesday night.
Well, I was wasted after 5 minutes of this movie.
Yeah, that'll happen. Anyway, let's wrap some stuff up here. Cummins claims he wants Mitchell to help him to be able to bust Mistretta for the smack. However, Cummins double-crosses everyone by first revealing that Mitchell is a cop to Mistretta, and then replaces the heroin with chalk to essentially, I guess, make off with lots of junk to sell for big-time money. But I guess maybe Mitchell was also smart to the idea by having the cops follow him in a chopper. Anyway, Mistretta was planning to kill Mitchell, then put him on Cummins' yacht to frame him, I guess. Lots of crosses.
It's like a 5-way Chrissy cross.
I suppose it was. My head is still spinning here, but let's try to solve that by talking about things I can more accurately wrap my head around. Of course, Deanie was played by John Saxon. We saw him not that long ago in My Mom's a Werewolf. As I said last season, he's got so many awesome credits. He had, not too long before this, been a major player in the Bruce Lee classic Enter the Dragon. He was active in movies and on TV for over 60 years before his death in 2020. In fact, his final film role is still in post-production, so he's still got something out there. Another returning actor from a first season episode is Martin Balsam playing Cummins. We saw him in the very first episode of B-Movie Enema the series, Eyes Behind the Stars. He was in some great films like Breakfast at Tiffany's, Psycho, 12 Angry Men, Catch-22, and both versions of Cape Fear, just to name some. Cummins' main goon, Benton, is played by Merlin Olsen. Now, Olsen was probably mostly known to people as at least as far as my age, as the flower guy in all the old FTD florist commercials in the 80s, or as Dick Enberg's color commentator on NBC's NFL broadcast, including 4 Super Bowls. However, to my parents, he was a fear-inducing defensive tackle for 15 seasons with the Los Angeles Rams. He was part of the Fearsome Foursome and considered one of the elite defensive linemen of his time. He missed only 2 games in his entire career. Last but not least is the lovely Greta, played by Linda Evans. Now, when she was not getting her feet slobbered on by Joe Don Baker, she was mostly a television actress. She was the 3rd wife of John Derek before he met Bo Derek in launching Bo's career. We'll maybe have an opportunity to talk about him someday. But Evans is known for 2 TV shows, The Big Valley in the 60s and Dynasty in the 80s. She was probably best known for the latter as one of the big members of the cast. She didn't do too many movies, but aside from Mitchell, she did appear in Beach Blanket Bingo as Sugarcane. She was in The Klansman, starring Lee Marvin and O.J. Simpson, and directed by Terrence Young of James Bond fame, and Tom Horn, which was Steve McQueen's final film. So, Mitchell. So, you find a crate of hamdingers in the storage room?
Hamdingers? What?
You know, so I can escape.
Escape? What are you escaping from?
Well, that's how Joel got out of the Satellite of Love when he left Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, no. There's no escape for you. This is your own personal hell, a nightmare of your own creation that you have to deal with. You're here forever. Bummer.
Well, okay. I guess you can just tell people where they can find the B-Movie Enema stuff.
Oh, yes. You can find all of Jeff's writings at www.bmovieenema.com. New articles post every Friday morning, and if you want to be kept in the loop with those articles and catch up on the classic articles Jeff posts, you can do so by following B-Movie Enema on Facebook and Twitter. You can also subscribe to B-Movie Enema YouTube channel to see new episodes of B-Movie Enema the series and the various clips Jeff uses in his articles. If you have a Roku, why not add the free channel OtherWorlds TV? That is a wonderful channel to watch forgotten and obscure movies Monday through Friday. On Saturdays and Sundays, you can see all the other movie hosts on that channel too.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Nurse. Well, that should just about do it for this week. Next week, we'll be back with another new episode of B-Movie Enema the series. In the meantime, from all of us here, from Nurse Disembodied to Mistretta, Galano, Mitchell, and Cummins, I'm Jeff Arbuckle, and I'll see you back here next week. Oh, Nurse, how many Schlitz farts do you think Joe Don Baker ripped off during those sex scenes with Linda Evans?